so excited. Screwed up your last name. Talking about the GOAT, Thomas Edward Patrick Brady. I got his name right, of course. Yesterday, in a sit-down with Michael Strahan, Tom shed some light on the Tampa Tom experience. Very smooth. Being so very different than his 20-year run in New England, talking about his new coach, Bruce Arians. Tom said, quote, he's a great motivator. He's got a great feel for the team, a great pulse for what's going on in a locker room, great intuition, great evaluation of talent. When you're in one place for 20 years, you think that's the only way. And I think when you go to a different place, you realize, wow, there's another way that people do things. Nick, I'm going to start with you. How do you think Bill Belichick should feel about these comments?
Well, listen, I don't know Bill, and I don't know that Bill has many feelings, but I do know this. That second clause of that paragraph was unnecessary. Like, if you put that quote back up on the screen, the first half of it is all just glowing praise of Bruce Arians, and the second part is Tom Brady just reminding folks that he's still a little more than a little upset that he ended up having to go somewhere else. That coach, I know sometimes, I'm sure, you know, when you were coaching or even now when you're in the media, you think the media makes a story out of nothing. But Tom Brady is very, very cautious with what he says and how he says it. And that second half of that quote was, to me, a very intentional, once again, little mini needle that, hey, you know, I could have won that 7th Super Bowl with you guys, but you decided I was done, and I went somewhere else, and guess what? Not only did I win it, but I had fun doing it. Like, do you know all the parties involved? Do you think I'm being unfair in that reading of it?
Yeah, I do think you're being unfair. When you look at it, he's praising Bruce Arians. This isn't a comparison piece, and everybody's going to compare it immediately, but it's really just praise for Bruce. And I was in the Belichick-Parcells system for 16 years, you know, even when I ran my own shop. So you get used to doing it one way, and you believe in one way of doing it. And then I went to San Francisco, and I was with Harbaugh, and they did it a radically different way. And there were some things that I took a step back and said, whoa, this doesn't make any sense to me. But there were a lot of other things that were really good that I liked, and it was refreshing to do it another way. It was interesting to see that you could win in a different way. And there were a lot of things that I would take from that experience the next time around. So it's not necessarily a knock. It's just when you're with someone for 20 years, you've heard all the stories, you've done all the drills, and it does get old. To me, the only possible shot was where he said he was a great evaluator of talent. To me, that was the only shot that I saw in that paragraph.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this isn't any news here. This is Tom just being honest. And look, I went viral the last day or two because on my podcast, I'm yelling at Ocho. And what I said to Ocho was, as football players, we're institutionalized. We're taught and trained not to rock the boat, not to be a distraction, you know, when we say things in front of the media or when we're off the field or even on the field. So Tom Brady, when we go back to this whole institutionalized thing, he was in one place for 20 years. In the Patriot way, we keep talking about the Patriot way. Well, that's all he knew. But for me, a guy that I didn't stay in one organization for 10 years, 20 years, whatever it is. I played on several organizations. I had several coaches. Some of the guys, Mike Shanahan. We got Lovie Smith. We got Bill Parcells and Tony Sperano down in Miami. Who else? I got Todd Bowles, Pete Carroll, Coach Sean Payton. And all of these guys did it differently. And that's what Tom is saying, and that's what Tom is seeing. You know, it was awesome for me to be able to go from one organization to the next, or another head coach come in or leave and another head coach come in, and you learn something a little different. They tweaked the practice schedule. They changed the meeting cycle. They changed the workflow. So that's all Tom is saying. I don't think Bill Parcells should take it personal, Wilds.
No, I don't think Belichick should take it personal at all. I'm personally tired of doing the Tom Brady leaves New England autopsy, but I don't think that's necessarily what this is. What this is Tom Brady went to Florida, had fun, had a new system, said, like, you know what? This is great. The question I have for you is this, Coach. Could Bill Belichick have had a 2-decade run any other way. Like, if you switch Bill Belichick's system and Bruce Arians' system, do you think Bruce Arians could have a 2-decade run of success? By the way, it's not ending. I think the answer is no. I think this is when you go on vacation, somewhere you're like, you know what, we should live here. It's like, all right, yeah, it's nice to be at a resort, but it's different living there every day. So I think Bill Belichick's system sets him up for sustained success, where Bruce Arians, the whole point of the success in Tampa was that we're all in short term. I don't expect Tampa Bay to be good in 3 years. I do expect the Patriots to be good.
Wiles, I couldn't agree with you more. The idea of, and we've talked about it over and over again, that it can be just a party after you win and conga lines, and we're going to do it differently, and all those things that we hear after a team wins their one Super Bowl, and then they disappear, and either the head coach gets fired or the team goes back to the middle of the pack, or whatever the situation is. In New England, it is hard, and you work every day, and when you win, the grind gets even tougher. And as I've said over and over again, it's not for everybody. And I'd say for Tom, him being able to go to New England, be drafted by New England, and have that experience, I think has helped him significantly become who he's become. And that relationship has helped, obviously, both sides of it. But I don't know if he'd be the same player without going through the grind that is New England.
Okay, I think that's a really good point. I think Wild's question is a great question. I also think it is categorically insane that I'm the only person up here seemingly reading the entire quote. Like, the idea that this wasn't a comparison when he draws a direct comparison is nuts. And I'm going to tell four of my favorite people, these colleagues on set right here, I hope to do this show forever. But if I ever leave this show and go do another one, and some blog interviews me, and the quote is just glowing about that new place, then there's no shots taken at you guys. But if I glow about the other place, and I'm like, and I got to be honest, it's nice to be in a place where the production meetings are smooth and, we have retired coaches on that aren't constantly taking shots at me, then guess what? I'm angry at you guys, if that's the second half of the quote. He didn't have to add the second half of that quote. He did that because, understandably, he's pissed that he ever had to leave. And he should be. He has won the divorce resoundingly in everyone's face.
No, he did not win the divorce.
Okay.
Listen, Nick, listen, there may be a lot of validity behind what you're saying right now, but here's the deal. If either one of these guys are thinking that it was all about them, then they're wrong. And we need to absolutely crush them. It was both of them together. It was Bill Parcells. I mean, not Bill. Bill Belichick was the one that had to go pick Tom Brady. Bill Belichick was the one that drafted guys. Come on. And then you got a GOAT quarterback. Come on, it's both of them.
All right,
He's 43.
All right.
Oh, sorry, everybody.